Hi everybody, welcome to this channel. This is Kay, and as you can see, yes, I am recording this at night because this is like now where I am. It's in the middle of the night and I can't fall asleep. I have been having quite emotional ups and downs for the past few days, and it is summer and it is beautiful. While that happening, at the same time I have been also processing my own emotions, certain understanding that I had to come to terms with, and mainly, it's like when it comes to processing, it actually feels more like an analytical process, right? And this is what I also want to share here, not only just sharing, but also reminding myself by speaking up for myself or sharing it out here, is actually reminding myself that if I only use the analytical way, so it's like intellectualizing my feelings, right? Of course, I can make it make sense, and that is actually very useful for helping me to ground, helping me to understand, and so I can cope with anything in life easier. Because when we give things structure, it helps us to understand, helps us to process faster and easier. But a lot of the time, we might forget the part that is also very important, which is emotional processing, but not the analytical way. The analytical way also needs to be there, but there's another side of it that needs to come hand in hand, and that is, to me, is vulnerability. It's like to be vulnerable and really just let the emotion flows without really thinking much, without really even understanding much, but just let it flow. And this is exactly why I'm recording this video, because this is every video on this channel is actually me, you can say brain dumping, but also at the same time, me coping with life. So I'm being really honest here. Like, for every video that I post is either because I don't understand something, so I research on it because it bothers me. Like, for example, I would be really bothered, so to speak, by why the society becomes this way or became this way. Why people have to suffer so much. Some people have to suffer so much in poverty, while others would live in a grandiose, grand, rich context. This bothers me, but at the same time, I'm curious, and so then I would look it up. And another example would be, I would be bothered emotionally, and so I would find ways to cope with it myself, and it is through processing, through the videos, me speaking out. Not only does it help me to process, but it also helps me to share the message with the world, because I know I'm not the only one experiencing all of this. So to me, it's a win-win situation, but I also want to put it out here in a very honest and vulnerable way is that I might seem like, wow, intellectualizing it or like making it make sense, but literally it's me coping with life. It's me coping with life through this approach. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is every video that I posted, including this one that I will post, is because I encounter this particular hardship, and my approach is to tackle it in a way that I would be like, okay, now this is tough, but how can I see it from another angle and make it positive and an opportunity for me to learn. Not only that, and when I share it with the world, everyone just, because of me sharing my authentic experience, and also in more or less a neutral stance, everyone can take their own piece piece of peace, piece of peace, their own piece of like cake, piece of peace, their own intake, right? Their own insight out of it, and grow. And for this one, honestly, I will say, because I am in a vulnerable state, especially because I did not, I haven't been rested well since yesterday. So I had been having quite running thoughts and basically emotional. I felt emotionally unsafe. Because of certain factors. One would be because of external influence. External influence, as in people around me. Things would happen in life, right? A second factor would be there would be things that I actually needed to process, but I did not know that I still need to process it, as in trauma or things that I have yet to cope with. And so now it shows up, and so then I would naturally have to confront them. And this makes me to be in a vulnerable state, and I learned a lot from this, actually. So what I learned from this is, so far as far, is when I need help, really, when we need help, really ask for help. Really ask for help, and know that we are never really alone. Like, as in, I'm not speaking this in like a spiritual way. I'm actually saying that we don't actually have to be, this is what I learned, we don't actually have to be in pain to ask for help, to ask for support, like simply just support. We can always ask for support without like having legit reason of I'm dying, like not this. It is, we can really ask for support just for really simple things. Yeah, because I grew up in an environment that caused me to be hyper vigilant, especially emotionally, because of temper issues of one of my parents. And so I would feel very unsafe whenever any sound that sounded like an argument, like a fight, because it means danger, right? It means danger whenever anything pops up like this. And so since young, I would become really alerted and vigilant when it comes to this. Now, on top of this is that I would actually say, I would associate myself with the term high sensitivity people, right? Like HSP is highly sensitive people. Yeah, highly sensitive people, because I sense other people's mood or emotions very, very attentively, or like it just comes naturally to me. And so what happened to me was I became the one the one that fawns. Like I became the one that fawns. Font. Oh my, font. So I coped with that situation by fawning. FAWN, by fawning. So my the other of my sibling, he coped it with fight. No, actually flight. He would be switching in between fight or flight, and me would be fawning. So what I want to say here is that everyone might, because of one's own nature, would go into a different path. So you either fawn or you fight or flight. It's usually like this. And in my case, I was the one that coped with the situation by fawning. So it's very, either way, look, either I was the one that fawned, or my other sibling was the one that fight or flight. They are both detrimental. Like the experiences that we went through, it might be different, the way that we behave, or the way that we respond, or say react to the situation, to the danger, to the perceived danger, but they are, in any way, shape or form, is very detrimental to our mental health. So for me, I had to learn it the hard way, like really the hard way, because of my fawning since young, I thought, like I learned that my psyche, so then now, like when I'm in adulthood, I had to relearn it. I had to relearn, I had to unlearn. I had to first unlearn fawning, only to relearn what is actually healthy. And this is actually what I have been working on for the past month. Okay, for the past month, like I have been consciously integrating this. Yes, but then the fawning part is not just, it's not just for the past month I have been working on. It's been more than a year, like around a year already, or more than a year already, like more than that. It's just because healing really doesn't come in a linear way. It's like now look, I would have not expected me filming this video talking about vulnerability, my own vulnerability, here out loud like this today. Nor a few days ago I would have not expected that. But because I would have not even expected I would experience emotional instability for the past few days, or even before that, right? I would have not experienced that. I would have not expected that. But here I am, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing. And it's so important, for these past few days, I realize it's so important for me personally, and so I guess it would be for everyone else as well, that it's so important to recognize emotions. Because once we recognize the emotions, they really disintegrate. It's like, okay, now you're named, you can be gone. It's like that. Or like the emotion would be like, oh, okay, now I'm named, I can be gone. It's actually like this. And it's especially helpful for me to identify that, to stating out loud that, wow, I feel really unsafe. You see, this is actually how I felt and how I have been feeling, that wow, I didn't really notice I would feel this emotionally unsafe when I'm in this situation. And if I just keep using, being intellectual or being analytical when it comes to my own emotions or me hurting, it's good for me to structure it in a way, but I need to recognize them. I need to recognize the emotions. I need to validate myself. That's the point. Like, I really need to validate myself, because if not, I'm just bypassing, right? I'm just bypassing the entire process, because to literally the analytical part, to make things make sense, is more of an assistive tool to help the emotions to process. Because the real point where the emotions can be successfully processed and released is the recognition. Is to actually recognize that I feel this. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah. It's so scary and it's very uncomfortable, and I don't know how to do it, but I am gonna make it out of here, because everything is temporary. So I personally have been through a lot of emotional turmoil, like since very, very young. So that is why, it's the same as how we train muscles. The more we train something, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? It's the same. It's like if you think of in the muscles way, how people go to the gym, I think they know even much more than I do. Is if we see it from a biological perspective, they actually have to tear the Z line in the muscle, tear it apart a little bit, and they would not do the same. What do you call that? The same. What do you call those? Because I don't go to gym, so I don't know. Like, say if you train the bicep, right? But then, so you train the bicep today, you're not gonna train the bicep tomorrow, because what the logic, or say the mechanism behind it, is because you have to give it time for the Z line that is being torn apart a little bit to grow back, okay, to grow back together, and that growing back is actually gonna make the muscle stronger, the bicep. So that is why what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If we see from just the muscles, the more we train it, the more it gets stronger. And for me, it's intellectual. No, for me, it's intellectual. For me, it's emotional intelligence. The more that I'm being, the more that I'm being kind of abused, the more that I try to find ways to cope with it. And the deeper that I was being thrown into, the more that I had to become the light myself. Like, that is what I've learned throughout years. And people might think like, wow, you're this young, you're young, but like, how can you talk about emotional wellness? Well, because I've been through it since really, really young, and I had been learning to cope with it. And basically, I'm here to share what I've learned, because I know emotional wellness is something not everybody, not everyone knows how to cope with. People might numb emotions instead of actually processing, but all in all, is part of life. Like, emotions are part of our lives, and if we choose to ignore or neglect emotions, it is actually quite detrimental to our health in general. In the long run, I would even say, because emotions connect us connect our mind to our body, to our soul. So it's actually physiological. It's physiological. So it would not only would it affect our psyche, but it would also affect our physical body. Yeah. And I do want to share how I am so how I feel about being vulnerable. I mean, it's not my first time being vulnerable on this channel. I have been vulnerable for quite some many times, I think, in the past videos. But sometimes when we, here's how I feel. Sometimes when I am strong enough, seemingly, to present myself in a particular way for an extended period of time, then I might fall into the idea of, oh, I'm that. Because if I've been always playing the role of like, oh, I'm really good at this, I'm really this that I always talk about this, that it's like a way that I show up, that I am skilled at. I might pick it up in a way gradually that I cannot fail. I cannot be vulnerable. I cannot experience emotional turmoil. I cannot experience emotional instability. Well, it's not that I want to experience emotional instability so to have things to say. No, it's that this is life. Emotional instability it doesn't actually mean something bad, but it means this is nature of life, because life has ups and downs. And if I reject this idea of, no, I'm always emotionally well, well, I would say this might be a little bit, what do you call that, like positive, fake positivity, false positivity, or something like this. But I'm not saying that is that I'm gonna break down, I'm gonna do, no, it is that when it comes to emotional stability, it doesn't mean that it's always stable per se. To me, what it actually means is that, be it in any situation, I'm able to cope with it. Like, that is it. Like, I'm able to use different ways to cope with any situation, or in this case would be emotions. Because it's the same in any like business context. Like, if you're like a skilled specialist in a particular field of study, you are like a master, in that craft or whatever it is. You have experiences. So for me, it would be emotions, right? Like what I'm talking about here. But for somebody else in their particular field of study, they have experienced they've encountered many different difficulties or obstacles and challenges throughout their career, and so they would naturally be very good problem solver. That would bring stability, or say mastery, in their own skill set, in their own field of study. So that is the stability, but it doesn't mean that it is stable. It means that they have learned through all the ups and downs, and now when they confront the ups and downs, they know how to navigate through it in a much more stable way. So that means these people, they would naturally, these masters, right, or say these specialists, they would then tackle more complex situations, right? It's like it's like the same. The teacher, or say that the master would tackle different problems than the apprentice. So it's just how it is. It's just how it is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm the teacher, you guys are friends. I'm not saying it this way. I'm just saying like this is how it is, like the process of learning. The process of learning. I was like, oh, apprentice. No, I don't mean it this way. It's like it's you see, everyone can be the master at anything. Like at something. As long as we dedicate time into it, and time and energy, and also we devote ourselves to something, we can all become masters of something or many things. And it really depends on what experience we have, right? So yeah. Yeah. And it's really unsettling. I'm gonna be honest. It's really unsettling when the emotions are out of your control. I would even say out of your control, and like I became really sensitive to emotions, but I actually learned something really really valuable because of that. To which I think I'm gonna share in the next video. Yeah, it'll be more concise. But for this one, I just want to share how I had been for the past few days, because it was not easy. It was not easy. It has not been easy, but it's getting easier. I can feel it. It's actually getting easier. The like seeing me, like, look, I'm filming it. It already is. It's a symbol. It's a sign that it's going easier, because I'm expressing how I felt. I'm expressing the difficulties. I'm expressing the vulnerability that's within me. And you know what? Look, some of you might think that my videos help you a lot, and oh, yes, I'm not denying this fact. It's just that I just want to let you know that I'm really grateful for you guys as well. For whoever that comes across this video, and those who have been watching the videos on my channel, is that thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting, or even just watching, and also those who give it a thumbs up. You guys, thank you so much. This is me letting you know that it is not a one-way street. This is actually a two-way street, because your witness actually helps me to receive external validation, meaning like feedback, that I know, okay, I'm doing something of value. Because when I process a lot of this information, it sometimes I could get lost. I'm gonna be really honest, I could get lost. As in what? As in, am I doing something of value, or I'm just ungrounded? Am I actually contributing, or am I just trying to seek for attention? This is something that we all might come into this kind of situation from time to time. But your comments and your interaction with me, your giving a thumbs up, or even you just simply leaving me a comment, they help me to understand that yes, I'm doing something that is of value, and this means a lot to me. So I want to say thank you so much. And you being the witness to me speaking my feelings, and also my own understandings, it means a lot to me, because I feel seen. I feel seen and heard the way I truly am, because I'm not hiding anything from because it's like if you see me in person, I'm actually like this. I'm actually like this. Like if you see me in real life, I'm actually the same person as how I'm talking now. There's not really like a persona. Sometimes I might, because of me being a channeler, like channeler. Um, I would I would have a little bit of a different personality because of me channeling. So, but when if we happen to meet in real life, I am like this. Like I make jokes and I'm really um, fun, but also I'm sometimes quite I wouldn't say reserved, but I'm a more I might be I might be swinging in between. I'm very Gemini. I'm very Gemini, like the astrology, the horoscope. I'm very Gemini. It's like I might be suddenly in a way that's very caring and fun, and then another side of me would be very serious and also uh, like very intelligent, like geeky, like this. So it's I'm this. I'm just this kind of person. So whatever you see on the channel, that's me. They're all me. It's just I have different sides of me um, that are expressed in different ways. To It's just who I am. It's just who I am. So sometimes people can't really catch up with my pace. As not saying that they are stupid. I don't mean this way. Is that my how I express myself could switch um, from like a very comedic way to a way that might be a little bit more academic. So it is kind of like a it's is a real transition. It's a transition. So it's not as easy for some people to to catch up with that transition. That's what I'm trying to express. And sometimes it's quite funny. And I was just like, oh wait, I might um, need to. It's because for some people it might be like putting on mask, right? But for me, it's not really mask. I actually do enjoy um, performing, so to speak, because some people would be like nowadays, like especially now, many people have been starting to say like stop performing for other people, just stop, you know, fawning, basically, right? But I had to come to a point to ask myself that am I actually fawning, people pleasing, or am I actually just love performing? Yeah, because I mean, for some people, it might come to a certain situation where they actually do fawn through performing, right? But for me no, I realized that no, it's not that I'm fawning. It's that I used to fawn. It's true, I used to fawn, uh, but I actually love performing. It's like theatrical. Like I love theatrical, being a little bit theatrical or a little bit like a dramatic element uh, when I express myself, because I find it fun. I find it very enjoyable to be in different roles and energies to express myself. Mm. So to me, it's a little bit different. For some people, maybe they do fawn through performing, but I used to though. I used to. Yes, it's true. I used to. But since under I I coped with the fawning part of my past, it's that part is kind of like being consciously separated from the performing. So then I would then no, it's not that I fawn to I perform so to fawn. No, it's because I do love performing. Like it's enjoyable for me. It's enjoyable for me. So that's why I would sometimes switch in different personalities but at the same time, I am a channeler, so that's why I would also have different personalities coming through. But all in all, I do enjoy performing. So it's quite a challenge sometimes, because at first I would, although it comes really natural to me, when regarding kind of like the multiple personalities, or even a lot of personalities that I can express from within. But it's different from some other people's cases, I guess. It's because for me, the personalities are not, how should I say, like the personalities to me, they are tools, or say like they are like outfits. They're like outfits for me to just wear on it, and then to go into different occasions. It's like if you go to the wedding, then you would dress up in a then I would dress up in a dress, so say, right? But if I go to a business meeting, then I would dress smart casual. So the outfit to me in this scenario, as in personality, the personalities are outfits for me, like when I express anything. So it's very comfortable for me to express anything in such a way, because it it's just like you switch into a different role, and so you would express in a very different way. Like if I want to be in a more powerful way, like empowering, then I would possibly in a more strong woman energy. But at the same time, if I were to be like, oh, I am kind of like a strong woman energy, but I do want it to be quite nurturing and not like condescending to other people, so that would be another personality in a sense, right? It's kind of like how I want to blend it into something to wear, to wear like an outfit, but just in a sense of, but in the context of personality. Yeah. And sometimes people might misunderstand me, but I mean that's all right. Right? Everyone is different. It's okay. And I do love explaining myself a lot, because I think part of the reason is because I used to be it's just quite hard for me to find people who understand me, like since a kid. It, of course, it has like the family setting, and also like what I experienced as a kid. Of course, they contributed to me being a little bit aloof when it comes to emotional intimacy, because my parents are they don't show any emotional intimacy to me, so like very little. So that's why I would not have been able to express myself in such a way. But however, fortunately, I do love performing, in a way that is actually quite separate from fawning to me. It's just by nature, I do love performing. But what happened was, when I was a kid, when I was younger, even when in teenage years, I would try to fawn by performing. Like that way would then contribute to people not being able to know the real me, because I was trying to cover up a lot of my hurt, and also trauma by performing. So then that would be actually wearing mask. So I'm hiding my real self behind the mask, behind personalities, and not really showing my real self. Like even if I hurt so badly and I actually needed help, I would not ask for help. So no one actually knew what I went through in high school. Only now, when we are all adults, and I would just let them. I then told them, like my high school classmates, that I actually went through, depression and anxiety disorder when I was at school. But none of them knew. None of them could even perceive. Like they would even say, I did not even know, nor would I be able to know, because you showed nothing. So that's how much I hide. That's how much I could hide my emotions, because I didn't feel safe to express my emotions to other people. Because when here's what I reflected during these few days is that I don't feel emotionally safe uh, in my family, towards my parents, and then that would extend to other people. However, this YouTube channel has allowed me to express myself really authentically, because I wouldn't, and it has also enabled me to learn how to not care about the judgment of people, because it's kind of like the more that I do it, the more that I show my vulnerability, the more that I realize that yes, this is exactly what I should do or what I should have done, because this is healthy. It's just that what happened to me in the past, when since very very young, is when I express emotional needs, I would receive negative feedback. As in, if I do want certain emotional support, my parents would not be able to provide for me, and on top of that, I would be blamed. Right? I would be maybe gaslighted. So that is a negative outcome to me as a kid, since a kid, right? If I express emotional needs, I would receive negative outcomes. So then for longer times, on and on, over and over again, I would then come to not express my feelings or emotions to my parents or my family, and that would grow into emotional distance. And so I would not embrace emotional intimacy, because I would not feel safe expressing myself, because it's gonna be a negative outcome. It's gonna be they blaming me, seeing me as weak, they seeing me as, you know um but here's the thing, we all have emotional needs. It's just that for those who don't embrace emotional needs, they would deny other people's emotional needs, and that would cause a lot of confusion, especially in kids. So that's what I experienced on the one side. And on the other side is that when I not only was I not able to receive, the support that I actually need emotionally, I had to give out all of that, my emotional. I had to become the emotional support to them, especially to my mother. So that was so unhealthy. That was really unhealthy, you see. But see, she or they would not notice it, because they are very unaware of their own emotional instability. Or I would even put it as emotional immaturity. So I became the one to hold peace, hold space for them. But that was very detrimental to my mental health, like really, really detrimental, really, really. So one part of it would be fawning, right? Because the reason behind fawning is because I would see, now that in hindsight I know, well, the fawning gave me a sense of security. That how I would see is like when I was younger, right? As a kid, if they fight, the parents, if they fight, I sense danger. Because as an empath, I sense the emotions like 10 times more than other people who are not empathic. Okay, so it is even more traumatizing to me as an empath. And when I experience that, maybe they don't even know it, I already know it. Like they don't even have to feel their emotion yet. I can already sense the emotion. This is how not easy to survive as a person, especially as a kid in such a household, because it's unseen. Everything is unseen, and as a kid I would not know what is an empath, right? I thought everyone is going to be the same as me, but turns out no. So what I had to learn to cope with it, and what I could only use to cope with such a situation was fawning. Because I am more of a peacemaker by nature, so I like more diplomatic. So I don't like conflicts, and so when I grow up, I try to avoid conflict. Whereas for other people, whereas for those who who choose the fight or flight. Not that they actually choose it, it's just by nature, okay? Those who resonate with being in the fight or flight, but not freeze or fawning, they would be the one that try to cause conflict. But for the ones who resonate more with freeze mode, and fawning, they would be the ones that try to avoid conflict. They would be the ones that try to make peace. So that is a major difference. And I try to make peace is through fawning was because I thought, you see, as a kid, I could not leave the situation, right? I could not leave. I really could not. So what I could only do was to try to make them feel good. I try to make them happy. So that's, as a kid, I thought that's how I can at least lessen the danger. Because if they are happy, that would be my logic. It's actually subconscious though. It was not conscious. Subconsciously, I would think, okay, so if I please them, that they are happy, then I think they might not argue as much or fight as much, and so I would not feel as much negative emotions, and so I would not be in danger. It is really a vicious cycle, because I then became the enabler. Like I was actually enabling them to remain emotionally immature, right? But of course I would not know. So now that I grow up, I would tell anyone who I come across in my life that you're responsible for your own emotional for your own emotions. That you got to be mature. You got to learn to be mature, right? It's a process to take up your own emotions. You have to learn to self-regulate, and this is what we all need to cope with in life. And when we cope with emotions in a friendly way and not try to reject it, personally I find it much more liberating than try to numb it, because it doesn't help. To me it just doesn't. I had to speak. I had to let it out, or else I would not be here speaking tonight. Yeah, it's very grounding. It's very grounding when I choose to express my vulnerability, even though I don't know. I'm not even holding any expectation when I express, and that's good, because I really don't know what's gonna happen or what kind of things I would have to expect from it. But the key is to just be true to myself, because I need people, like I need witness. It's actually kind of like group healing in therapy, because I am the one that chooses to speak up, right? The vulnerabilities and the discomfort in with authenticity. And so other people who might have similar experiences, they would feel seen. I would say they would feel that, like, I'm not alone. Like, there's somebody else like me who experienced this or experiencing this, and this is very healing, right? And so when any one of you comments under my videos, that helps me to understand that I'm also not alone. Like I have, I have people who understand me, and I have people who could be going through the similar situations as I am, but also maybe in the future or in the past, So it's about coming together to recognize each other's difficulties by kind of like shared experiences, because we're all humans and we do have these moments like these moments, right? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I feel actually really much more relieved and lighter and more relaxed after I uh, recorded this video. It's like 50 minutes. It's quite a long one. So yeah, I hope you all are doing very well, and thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for supporting. I really, really appreciate your presence. It, even if you have never commented, this means a lot to me. And I hope the same, that the videos that I post means a lot to you, as in you resonate with that. If in any way, shape, or form it helps you to grow towards a more positive way, I would say it's my honor to be able to be your witness, or say your companion along your own journey, because you have done the same for me. Yeah. So if you happen to, you like to leave a comment or whatever, feel free, because isolation does help us to reflect and retreat, to recuperate oneself from time to time, but human connections are very precious. It's not something that we can live without, actually. It might seem scary, but it's actually, it makes us stronger. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Okay, but in a very gentle way. I'm not saying that it's actually gonna hurt a lot, but yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.